Hi, I'm Gabriel Lewis, and thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel. I'm fat and I'm not ashamed. Yeah, that's what you landed on. I'm focusing on me and I want to teach you. I'm affirming me and I want to help you. I'm transforming me and together we can get some good change. Yeah, I just really want to encourage you on today. We're headed to a new year. And the only way you're going to be a new you in the new year, you got to do something new. I got a nice subject today that's really dear to my heart that I want to talk about today. Moving beyond your comfort zone. Moving beyond your comfort zone. As I was looking over some things to say and jotting some notes, this was the first thought that came to me. I wrote it down. Comfortability breeds complacency. I'll say it again. Comfortability breeds complacency. You know, too many times in life we get comfortable. That's why people stay in bad relationships. That's why people stay on jobs that they hate. That's why that people put up, like I did for so many years, with poor health and being overweight. You know why? I got comfortable. And it takes effort to move beyond your comfort zone. There's a passage of scripture that I want to read today. One of my favorites again. 2 Kings chapter 7, verses 3 through 16. I'm not going to read all of them, but I'm going to read about 4 or 5 of them. And it reads like this. Now there were 4 lepers sitting outside the city gates. Why sit here until we die? They asked each other. We will starve if we stay here, and we will starve if we go back into the city. So we might as well go out and surrender to the Syrian army. And if they let us live, so much the better. But if they kill us, we would have died anyway. Man, that was a dilemma to be in. Did you hear that conversation? Let's first of all look at this dilemma that the lepers were in. In the biblical times, first of all, number one, they were dying. They were dying. Leprosy was probably one of the worst diseases you could have in that day and time because it was incurable. And man, it was horrible. You know, you could be sitting talking to each other and all of a sudden your nose would fall off, a finger would fall off. That's how debilitating and decaying the disease was. So it wasn't no joke, man, to be a leper. But not only was their dilemma that they were dying, but they were in quarantine. They were isolated. You know, in that day and time, they had to live in a certain city. Man, what kind of shape is that? Where you're living in a place where everybody's sick like you. Everybody's noses and eyelashes and fingers and legs and feet are coming off. And that's a horrible condition, to live in a place of death and not being able to come out. But then thirdly, the third thing was that their penalty was death for even appearing in public. Man, that's tight. They knew if they left their place where they lived, if they came in the midst of the public people, they died. They would be stoned to death. Man, that was a horrible condition to live in. So how do you deal with that? What can we learn from these 4 lepers? These 4 lepers teach us 4 valuable lessons. Number one, you know what they teach us to do? They teach us to get up. If you're going to move beyond your comfort zone, these lepers in this deplorable situation teach us to get up. Remember the conversation? They looked at each other, man. They were dying. They were decaying. And you know what they said? Why should we sit here and die? I want to say that again. Why should we sit here and die? And I'm talking to you looking at me in the camera. You're going through something. You're sitting there comfortable, even though you're uncomfortable in whatever you're dealing with, your sickness, your situation, your relationship, your employment, your finances. But you're sitting because it's comfortable and you're not doing nothing. I ask you the question again. Why should you sit there and die? The leper said, man, we need to rise. So one of the things they teach us, the first thing, get up. If you find yourself in a comfort zone where you're stagnant, you got to move beyond it. Get up. But number 2, They got out. That's the second thing. You know, if you're going to move beyond, not only do you get up, but you got to get out. You got to leave the house. You got to leave the neighborhood. And listen, they were so fed up with where they were. They said, look, even though we know we can be stoned to death, even though we know we can be killed by the Syrian army, we're going to die if we stay here. We could die if we leave here, but we don't know what will happen, so we're going to take a risk. They said, we're going to get up and we're going to get out. But then the third thing it tells me about moving beyond, number 3, you got to get moving. That's what they did. Not only did they get up, not only did they get out, but they didn't just stay there. You know, sometimes we will get up. Sometimes we will get out, but we allow fear to cause us not to move. And so we'll stand there like a deer in headlights, stagnated. But not only did they get up, get out, and get moving, guess what happened? They got ready for abundance. That's what they teach me. That's what they taught me. They got up, and you know what happened? When they were going to surrender to their enemies, they got to the country, they got to the city, and it wasn't no soldiers. And you know what they found? They found an empty camp full of food, full of jewelry, full of wealth. And guess what? They never would have found that abundant place if they had stayed in their comfort zone. I don't know who that's resonating with now. I don't know who that's helping. But somebody's looking at me right now, is wondering, should I take a risk? I say, yeah, take a leap of faith. You never will find out how life can be better if you don't get up, if you don't get out, if you don't move. You will never experience the abundance that you can have. My name is Gabriel Lewis, and I'm fat, and I'm not ashamed. It's almost New Year. You said last year, I'm going to do something better. I challenge you to get up. I challenge you to get out. Many of you know that one of the reasons I started this channel was because I was fed up with being overweight, fed up with being sick, fed up with being tired, fed up with being assigned, couldn't move, had to stay in the house. And I made up my mind, I'm going to do something. I'm going to start a plan to better my life. Guess what? Many of you have been watching me now for several months, and you haven't clicked the button, you haven't subscribed, you haven't placed an order, you haven't even attempted to cleanse. It's a good time now. Why are you thinking, should I cleanse? Should I get that weight loss packet? I want to challenge you. In the description below is my website. Why don't you join me to better yourself for 220? Stop being complacent where you are. Get up and move beyond your comfort zone. If you just lost a pound a week, 2 pounds a week, that's 52 pounds or 100 and something pounds this time next year. Why don't you do me a favor? Help yourself and move beyond your comfort zone. Yeah, you know who I am. I'm Gabriel Lewis, and you know what? And I'm fat, and I'm not ashamed. I'm focusing on me, and I'm trying to help you. I'm affirming me, and I'm transforming me, and you can be transformed too if you get up and move beyond your comfort zone. I'll see you next weekend.